When we think about workplaces, we usually imagine offices, factories, or shops. But what about schools? They are organizations where hundreds of people work, yet they function very differently from traditional businesses. Hi, I am Tamara Richter, and this is The School Crisis, a channel where we talk about education. Today, we're going to talk about schools as workplaces. We're going to analyze schools as organizations, and we're going to look at different approaches to school management. Organizational psychology studies how to improve well-being and efficiency in workplaces. However, schools are different. They do not produce goods or aim to maximize profit. Their product is learning, and its success can be really measured in economic terms. It's really hard to pinpoint where you are learning. Like if you think about your own learning, do you know exactly when you're learning, how much you learn, and if you learn? Many times we realize these things like weeks, months, and even years after we officially learn what we thought we were learning. It's messy. So, can they be managed as any other organization? In words of Gerald Biesta, education cannot be measured solely by economic results, but by transformation of individuals. What makes schools a unique workplace? First of all, the relationship between teachers and students. It's not only transactional. The workers' motivation. Teachers' motivation to work, it's not just about the salary. There's usually love of learning, love for teaching. Success is measured in learning, not productivity. Administrative decisions impact directly in education experience. The word management comes from the business world. So when we talk about school management, it's a way of replicating business models to improve efficiency in schools. But can a profit-driven model truly be applied to education? As Casasus said, schools have been shaped by business logics, but their function is far more complex than just preparing workers. Let's make a quick comparison between business and schools. The goal of a business is profit and growth. Of a school is learning and equity. Worker motivation in the business sphere is salary and promotions. Schools, vocation and professional development. Success metrics, business, financial benefits. Schools, students' impact. Organizational culture, business is competitive, schools collaborative and social. Now let's talk about leadership. In a traditional company, a good manager optimizes processes and maximizes efficiency. But in a school, a good principal must inspire, motivate, and build a learning community. School leadership goes beyond a good administration. It's about pedagogical leadership. As Kenneth Latehood said, educational leadership is not about directing, but about empowering those who teach. So there are many leadership theories out there, but I'm going to mention 3 of them that I think are very useful to understand leadership in schools. James McGregor introduced the concept of transformational leadership in his 1978 book, described it as a process where leaders and followers engage in mutual relationship that leads to higher levels of motivation and morality. The concept of distributed leadership was primarily developed by Peter Gunn, particularly in his 2000 paper where he argued that leadership in schools should be shared across multiple individuals, not just concentrated in one leader like a principal. It emphasizes collective decision-making and collaboration within the school community. Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard developed the situational leadership theory in the late 1960s. They propose that effective leadership depends on the leader's ability to assess the situation and adjust their style accordingly. If we think schools as machines, we might apply principles of efficiency and control. But what if we see them as a living organism? According to fractal organization theory, a school is not a fixed hierarchy, but an interconnected system that evolves and adapts. In words of Henry Cole, Organizations that survive are not the fastest or the biggest, but the most flexible and adaptable. He proposes 3 principles can help create a fractal management in schools: decentralization and autonomy in decision making, people over processes, and organizational culture built on collaboration. Schools exist within a capital world, but they cannot be managed as a factory or a business. They require more human-centered, flexible, and learning-driven leadership models. In words of Gerald Biesta, if we treat education as a business, we will end up with societies that only know how to consume, not think. So, what do you think? How should schools be managed to balance structure and well-being? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to keep the conversation going. See you next time.